Hello, welcome to our brand new series called Top Fives. With me today, I have Rebecca Want from Marbella Interiors, and she's here because because you're fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And because we know you very well, but she's here because Marbella Interiors are sponsoring this new series of Top Fives. So you're going to be chewing the fat with me about all things related to Spanish real estate. Marbella Interiors, designer-inspired furniture schemes. Without the designer prices.
Without the prices,
Sounds
yes.
fabulous. And we send a lot of clients to Marbella Interiors, and you always do a great job for them. So thank you very much. Moving swiftly on, the first one in our top 5 series, the first topic is the top 5 mistakes that sellers make on the Costa del Sol.
So in your experience, what do you feel?
Well,
in reverse order.
Shall we do them in reverse order, like a beauty pageant?
Yeah.
Coming in at number 5. So sellers, they instruct too many agents.
Would that not be beneficial though, having lots and lots of people?
It can be, but here it's a different system. It's a different way of selling because it's a multi-listing system for a start. So if you list your property with one agent, as long as they are then able to distribute it to all other agents.
So there's a big database of all the properties.
Exactly. So effectively you've got full market exposure, but you've only had to instruct one agent. I think the problem when you instruct more than one or two is that the marketing of your property can become diluted. It can become repetitive.
Right.
If you change the price, not everyone changes the price.
And I suppose you have lots of sets of keys floating around, and anybody could be visiting and things like that.
It can become unmanageable. My advice to people is form a relationship with one agent. Get them to understand your needs, your motivations, what you want, and get them to market the property and get them to explain how they're going to market the property.
So that person's really selling your house to whatever agent or client comes along, as opposed to it just being out there for somebody to find.
Randomly. And also, if you only instruct one agent, chances are they're going to do a better job for you because they're committed. They know they haven't got any competition.
And they want to win their commission.
That's it. So but they've got to go out to two client groups. One is their direct clients, obviously, but the second one is to the agent client group as well, because it's very important. It doesn't run like a normal system here. You don't know if your buyer is going to be sat in an office in Manchester or Munich or a home in Madrid. So you've got to really spread the net.
So you need an agent that's on databases, websites.
Exactly. So you don't necessarily need 5 agents to take you to those 5 destinations, but you do need one that's going to distribute you to those 5.
Okay.
Number 4.
Go on.
Oh, this is a bit of you. This is poor presentation. Not that you're poorly presented, but this is a real bugbear of ours, isn't it?
It's a real shame as well, because you can see, I know that's one I really agree with that one. And I sometimes have agents asking me to go with them to see properties when somebody's not even bought it, because they can see the potential, but the buyer can't quite see the potential because it's too personal, the house, or the distribution of the furniture is not quite right.
Show flats have no problem selling, do they? And it's because I guess they're staged to within an inch of their lives. The lighting, the smells, the temperature.
The colour schemes are always quite neutral.
Yeah.
They're very much of the latest trend, but not too fashion in your face. They're not too personal. There's not too much clutter or too many photos or anything like that. And the layout is always very functional.
Yeah.
So you can really see yourself. That's what you want to sell. You want to sell it to somebody they can see themselves.
They can imagine themselves there, not the owner living there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Number 3, ignoring market feedback. People can get very personal and protective about their properties, can't they? We all are. It's like having a child. You think you've got the best child in the world. You have. But it's with a property. It's also, you think, hang on, I've worked damn hard to afford this and I've made it look beautiful with all my favourite furnishings, and you're coming in here saying that it's not right and it's too expensive, and hang on a minute.
Yeah.
It can be, you've got to be very careful.
I can imagine as an agent, you've got to be very careful talking to somebody about that. Because you don't want to offend somebody and sort of say, your house is nice, but I will sell it
People always say, give me your honest opinion, your honest feedback. And then when you give it to them, they're like, what?
Oh, really? How very dare you?
Really? Yeah, it is a bit like that. So you have got to tread carefully. And I think it's a way of doing it. And if you're experienced and you know what you're saying, you can dress it in a particular way that doesn't sound too critical.
Yeah, but also I think as a good sales agent, you can work around those issues. I can imagine with a vendor and in the same way some of them call me in to kind of explain how a house could be presented differently.
But the mistake they make is sometimes a lot of vendors, they take on your comments, but they don't implement them. So they will still follow you around turning lights off when you're with a client. And or they won't replace that with something else, or they'll keep their picture, you know, and it's like.
Would you recommend vendors are in the house when, like you say, if they're following you around, just sort of keep a distance?
Keep your distance, because I don't think potential buyers can be completely honest if the vendor of the property is sitting there. Even if you think they can't hear you, they're earwigging. Of course they are, because they want to hear the feedback.
Yeah.
And then they'll start, you know, vendors often start saying, oh, have you told them about this? And if
It just makes it uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Shut up. I know what I'm doing. I've got full instructions. I understand this house back to front, upside down. I know what I'm doing, and I understand my buyer. You don't. So you need to pipe down. I know it's your house.
They could say the wrong thing.
Yeah. And
actually put the vendor off.
Often they do.
Maybe promote something that they think is a huge bonus for the house, but actually is a downside for
Yeah, we've got, do you like cats? We've got a load of cats that come and see us. If you don't like cats, you're not going to buy it, are you?
Yeah.
Right, we're down to the final two. Number 2 is overpricing from day one. Now, this is a real bugbear of mine at the moment. Costa del Sol, it's been a rising market for some time, and it looks like it's continuing to rise, but people have got a little bit overexcited, I think, in the last few years. And not a lot of agents, but there are some agents out there who are deliberately overpricing. And they're doing it to win listings.
Okay.
You know, they're going in and saying, yeah, this house is amazing. Wow, I can sell it in the next 2 months, and I think it's worth €1 million. And of course, that's going to seduce a seller, isn't it? They're going to think, wow, this person likes my house, and they're going to think, oh, €1 million, fantastic. Yeah. But they're not getting the real market rate. They're not being explained in the right way what the price should be.
So then if you, everybody expects to negotiate a little bit, but if you have to negotiate a lot, and I guess if something's on the market for a long time, people think, what's wrong with it?
Then you've got a problem. And that brings us to number 1, which is choosing the agent who gives you the highest valuation, which is kind of a similar thing. So very often, if we're going to value a property, we'll be one of maybe 3 or 4 agents who are invited round. We are known in the business as being pretty accurate with our valuations, almost to the point where some people think we're a little bit conservative, but we often get calls from vendors who haven't instructed us saying, by the way, just to let you know that we sold it for the price you said.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that fills us with a bit of confidence. And we lose listings sometimes because we're too honest.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go into that €1 million property that's been put on the market by another agent. We'll say, do you know what? To sell this property, it needs to be at 800,000.
Which is a big difference.
Which is a hell of a difference. But we would rather have a listing on our books that we can sell, not one just for the sake of vanity.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of agents do that. They just want the listing. But what they'll do is, more often than not, they'll chip away at that vendor over the next 6 months to bring that price down to 850 to get 800. But they've started at $1 million to get the listing. And it's really frustrating because they're not giving the seller the market valuation.
Yeah. So really it all comes down to just finding the right agent that gives you the right advice and listening to them.
And I guess you don't know that. I guess a lot of it is about gut feel. You know, it's like, how do I know which agent to trust? How do I know who's giving me the right valuation? The thing is that, you know, the market always decides the price, not you, the vendor. The market will dictate what it's worth when they find someone who's going to come along.
And you'll get a gut feeling for somebody that knows what they're talking about. And
I think so, because the worst thing you can do is to have the property on the market for so long with lots of different discounts, because then it looks desperate. And then people are going to think, hang on, why?
Yeah.
You know? And they might think, well, if it's going down, let's wait for it to go down even more. So I always think it's good to, allow a little bit of wriggle room, but for goodness sake, don't overprice.
Brilliant.
And that's our top 5 tips for sellers looking to sell.